Strap in, I'm about to rant. First off, I'm not short, I'm fun-sized. Second, the budget for movies and TV shows right now is absurd. It is out of control. We're entering the loony dimension right now with how much money is being pumped into like every show and movie that comes out, it seems. Just like owning an NFT, it's doomed for failure. It seems like every movie and TV show that comes out in recent years is like $100 million plus budget. It makes no sense. That is not sustainable at all. I think there needs to be some kind of huge investigation into where this money is going. There has got to be some shady foul play afoot here. Like something is fishy. There is a smell that smells smelly. Because a lot of these shows and movies look like dog shit. Like, take for example, The Acolyte. $180 million for those 8 episodes, and half the time it looks like you're watching a CW production. Or the Halo TV series that still has many people in tears up late at night wondering where it all went wrong. $90 to $200 million for that absolute stain? The Neil Blomkamp Halo 3 live-action commercials were better than that, and higher quality. Or Citadel, an Amazon series with a production budget of 300 million doubloons for 6 episodes. What the hell is even that? 300 mil for a series that goes straight to the VHS bin at Blockbuster? I looked it up. Apparently this wasn't received very well, and really wasn't received at all because not many people were talking about this. I watch pretty much every movie and show that comes out, and I'd never even heard of this one. And it was $300 million. Where does this money go? Like in the case of Halo or Acolyte, it's not going to writers. It's not going to people that actually make good shows. Does it just like vanish into the back rooms? It's definitely not going to the VFX teams, which are dreadfully overworked. Like, what happens to this massive amount of money? And there's still so many more examples I could choose from. The Borderlands movie. $110, $120 million for that stinking affront to God. That movie looks worse than most fan projects on YouTube right now. There are moments in that film that look like it was someone's first editing gig and they learned from watching daily motion tutorials on Adobe After Effects. Now, I know the main reason why a lot of these look so bad is because all of the VFX workers are dreadfully overworked. The industry is cruel to VFX workers, so they're not able to shine like they were for Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're able to actually hone their craft and deliver masterpieces. Instead, they're all worked harder than my butt after I eat a Crunchwrap Supreme, and they're not able to deliver the quality that they are capable of. And I know it's not their fault at all. It's these strict deadlines that for some reason they're just like, go, 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 this needs to come out ASAP, I don't care if it looks terrible. And I don't get it. This is like probably the most important department for most blockbusters because if the movie doesn't look good, most people are going to write it off immediately. Just start yawning, rolling their eyes, and just call the movie trash because it doesn't look how they would expect it to. And the audience isn't wrong for that criticism. It's the reptilians in the suits at the top of the food chain that are wrong. Like, I don't know where this money goes. Now, what made me really want to talk about this is I started watching a show called Those About to Die. Now, I haven't heard any buzz about this show. The only reason I know about it is because I am a huge Roland Emmerich fan, mainly because of Moonfall. He directed Moonfall, which I've said probably close to 1,000,000 times. I am always preaching the gospel about Moonfall being the best bad movie ever made. It is actually probably in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, even though it is an objectively horrible film, because it is a disaster masterpiece in every possible category, which ends up making it an extremely entertaining film and one of the best movie experiences you could ask for. I couldn't suck Moonfall's cock harder if I had 2 mouths. I can't help but just sing its praises. Point is, Roland Emmerich directed that movie, so he's got a fan for life in me. I am a huge Emmerich enthusiast. So he directed Those About to Die. It's about the Roman Empire and the games and a lot of hoopla going on. And I checked it out just because I had to see what my boy Emmerich is up to. I kind of went into this expecting it to be not great because that's what I've come to expect from him, but I expected to be entertained. Spoiler alert, the big surprise, the big twist about this one is I wasn't that entertained. It's not bad. Like, it's not a bad show at all, really. It's just really mediocre. There's nothing special about it. It just kind of ends up being white noise. I haven't finished watching it yet. I don't think I'm going to either. Like, it's just kind of a snoozer. Mainly because it's not bad enough to be like so bad it's good, and it's not good enough to like actually captivate me and have me invested in it. But by no means is it some awful show. But when I finished watching an episode tonight, I decided to look up what people were saying about it and if anyone was even talking about it, because I didn't hear a peep about this. I heard more about Concord than I did for Those About to Die. And one of the first things I saw when I looked it up is that this motherfucker has a budget of $150 million. Break that down for me. Give me the line items here. Show me the Carfax. 150 million clams for this blows my mind, because it is not a good-looking show. One of the main critiques that you'll find about this show from the people that have watched it is how bad it looks pretty often, like really rough CGI, obvious green screens, and that was one of the first things I picked up on as well, because even in episode 1, there are moments where the green screen actually feels like Indiana Jones level when he's running away from the boulder. I would have never guessed this was a big budget production. I would have giggled in your face if you told me that this had a budget of 50 million. 150 million. Well, I'm not laughing anymore. Now I'm just kind of mad because there is no reason why this show would cost that much. When I was watching it, I honestly thought it was some kind of like Roland Emmerich passion project that he may have even chipped in to self-fund with money that he pulled up from his mattress. You know, like, it is not a show that looks like $150 million. Not even close. Like, it's not like it bothered me that much. I was definitely willing to forgive lackluster visuals because there are moments in it that do look good for sure. And I had no idea that it was $150 million, so it's not like I went in there expecting to have, like, you know, breathtaking visuals or anything. And there are moments that do look good, but for the most part, it doesn't look like you would expect something to look for that amount of money. Where does it go? Where does the $150 million go for a show like Those About to Die? And how can it possibly be expected to be financially successful for Peacock? Again, I didn't hear anyone talking about this. I had to go digging to even find a discussion on it, and I only heard about it because I follow Roland Emmerich. But I can't even fathom how much money this would need to generate to turn even the slightest profit to make it worth it. This, again, feels like it's doomed for failure because of a bloated budget. This did not need to be that much money. It shouldn't have been that much money, not even close. I feel like if every Peacock subscriber watched Those About to Die twice, it still wouldn't be enough to justify that budget. Like, it still wouldn't be deemed a, like, financial successful investment. Like, how is this... How does this model of investing hundreds of millions of dollars into like 8 to 10 episodes of a TV show possibly have any chance of working? And the shows that get produced with these massive budgets, they're not performing well even if they weren't that much money. Like, they're still flopping and they're not being received that well. The shows just aren't that great, so the money doesn't even seem to be going to like the writers. It's definitely not going to the visuals, so where does it go? Where? Another great example of this phenomenon is Amazon's Rings of Power. Basically $1 billion budget for that show. And the vast majority of that, the fucking huge chunk of that show, is just two characters blabbering at each other, talking in circles in a few different locations over the course of an hour per episode. Or aimlessly walking in the desert with the Harfoots. God bless. I don't even... Not gonna get into the weeds of Rings of Power again, but the point is, that show is mainly just characters talking at each other. Like, there's not a whole lot going on. Why is it costing $1 billion? It doesn't look significantly better than other shows with a fraction of those of that budget. I don't know where this money goes or why they're spending that much money on it. There must be some huge scam. Like, there must be someone that's just making a killing convincing these studios to spend that much money on shows like this. It's so silly, stupid, it makes no sense. It's not like you need to be spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create a great TV series. Like, let's take, for example, the best TV show ever made, Breaking Bad. I know that's a lukewarm take right there. There is a lot of people that also think Breaking Bad is one of, if not the best TV show ever produced. And that had a budget of about $3 million per episode. So, like, a single season of Breaking Bad would cost about $40 million to make. At $40 million, that's probably not even enough to make 3 episodes of Rings of Power, which is unhinged. Like, it's so unnecessary. These budgets, they just don't make sense. And movies, I'm talking about TV shows a lot right now, but it extends to movies as well, like I mentioned with Borderlands, for example. Budgets are just truly out of control, and I cannot figure out what that money gets spent on. But anyway, just wanted to rant about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. Yeah, let's start with this. I'm sure most of you probably didn't even know this came out. I didn't know. My parents told me that it was actually released. We talked about it on stream last week or something. Basically, Netflix threw a desperate Hail Mary. They did a real-life Squid Game in the same vein as Mr. Beast, but did it so much worse and cheesier. So it's out. They're way too late to this trend. Like, this is way tardy to the party. This would be like if they made a reality TV show about the best fidget spinner. Like, it's, I think, missed the mark entirely on, like, hitting while the iron's hot. And my parents and I watched the first episode tonight. It fucking sucks. So they use, like, real people. It was an open casting call. People signed up. They go here and they play the Squid Games in real life. It's terrible. Like, if they had just played the games and made a show out of it, it'd be whatever. It'd be forgettable, but I guess mindless popcorn entertainment for a game show. They don't. They try and interject drama into it, a la the actual show, and it falls so flat. So it really feels like they instructed all the people to be as fake and over the top as possible. So, where do I even begin? So they do interviews with all the people. Well, not all the people, a lot of the people. And every single one of them has to have their own quirky personality. So there's one guy who's like, sympathy is a weakness. Like, he's speaking like an anime character. And it's right before red light, green light. Spoilers, he makes it through red light, green light, and then he's like, yeah, I'm pretty confident. God made me this way. Why would I want to be anybody else? You know, people go through struggles, but I don't complain about it. You go through struggles that I went through. The difference between you and me is I'm not whining. Like, that kind of shit. It's fucking terrible. Like, it is insufferable. And it's clear that these people are instructed to say things like this, to be abrasive, to be over the top. Like, a girl was doing an interview and she's like, my name actually means all-knowing, which is accurate because I can see the future. And then she kind of goes in on that a little bit. It's clear they are trying very hard to put some kind of personality into just this very vapid concept of just doing the Squid Games IRL. It's fucking awful. My parents and I ended up just making fun of it the entire time. And it is so phony. I think most of it is scripted. Like, I really do. I think the vast majority of what was filmed here had to be scripted to some level. Because there's, like, this test where after red light, green light, they take 2 people that just happen to be in the kitchen peeling carrots together and, chit-chatting. And they're like, you two, you have the choice. Give one player an advantage in the next game, or eliminate somebody. And it's like this crescendo of music, like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Are they gonna execute somebody? Oh my god, it's the biggest decision of their life. So then they're like debating the morality back and forth as they're peeling carrots, and they're like, they do like 15 different YouTuber thumbnail faces, and like 45 different camera cuts. Eventually they decide to eliminate somebody. And the person they eliminate is number 200. And what's special about number 200 is they had given him his own little brief character arc like 45 seconds before, where he's like, hey, my name's, I think his name was Mati, I think. And he's like, I just want to make a lot of friends here. I want to meet people. I want to have a lot of fun, maybe get a good group together and just meet everyone. And then 45 seconds later, the test was they choose to eliminate him. And I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. When they eliminate him, they make a big announcement. The testers have decided to eliminate contestant, and then they spend about a full minute like flipping through numbers to build suspense, and all the people are instructed to be like on edge as possible. So you have people like literally crying, and then they say 200 is eliminated. And I shit you not, the entire bunk bed dormitory erupts into like hysteric fits of crying. Like, there's one guy who starts jumping up and down going, no! No! for a stranger they don't even know. Like, they don't know this guy. It's a totally fucking random guy that just got eliminated. He never even met him. And the whole dormitory is doing this. They start hugging him. They start crying. Then they do a post-game interview with him, and he's like, I wanted to win this. My family needs a better life. This was all for my family, and now I'm gone. Like, it's all so fake. It's so bad. It's so terrible. And that's just episode 1. Like, it's, oh my god. I thought it was just going to be, like, a forgettable throwaway Squid Game, you know, parody-ish. Well, not parody. They just do the Squid Game. But holy fuck. Netflix went hog wild with making it as insufferable as possible. It combines every single awful trope about game shows and rolls it into a Squid Game skin. Jesus Christ, it's bad. It's so bad. Almost ruined my whole Thanksgiving. Oh, and I hate the way it's edited, too. When they're playing red light, green light, it is impossible to keep up with anything happening, because they'll, like, jump forward in time and then jump backwards sometimes. So people that are, like, running and then they stop, like, they'll just get fully eliminated, because what actually happened is they actually were moving 30 seconds in the future, but they showed that clip after they were eliminated. Like, it's all over the place. It is a fucking mess. Oh my god, I hate it. I hated it. I couldn't imagine watching all 5 episodes. And then, of course, they had to instruct the people to pretend like they don't know what's coming, so when Game 2 happens to be the cookie thing, they're all caught off guard, like, what is this? No, wait, you don't want the umbrella, because you see the umbrella has some very hard-to-follow points to it, that you don't want that. Oh no! How could this happen? You think it was done on the cheap? No! That's what my dad and I were so surprised with. They spent oodles of doubloons to produce this. The sets are incredible. They matched everything 1-to-1. This is a very expensive game show they put on. And fuck, it sucks. It only gets worse. Yeah, I just don't think I can stomach more of it. It's not even fun bad. Like, I'm kind of making it sound more fun bad than it was. It was miserable. It was, like, I couldn't even look at the screen half the time. Like, with the shit that was going on, it was so phony baloney. Why did they copy? It was to try and capitalize off the success of Squid Game, but it's so late to it that nobody cares anymore. Plus, every YouTuber ever already did it. Oh yeah, sorry. So that was all a prerequisite to this here. The contestants, who again were like normal people that were instructed to act a certain way during the interviews, I believe, they are now claiming that they suffered injuries from it. So hypothermia and nerve damage. And after watching episode 1, I can kind of see how they might have had that happen. Hypothermia, no clue. But nerve damage, a lot of the contestants in the first game adopted this strategy where they would sprint really fast and then dive. Like, just full-on dolphin dive like it's Call of Duty. And just eat shit. Literally just eat shit and, like, penguin slide on the ground as they're skidding across it in order to, like, stop moving entirely. So I bet there were some real injuries here with people trying some ridiculous strategies. Thanks to Tier 1 sausage. But as for the hypothermia, don't know where that comes from yet. Maybe the dormitory wasn't kept at a proper temperature. I really don't know. A British personal injuries law firm is representing 2 unnamed players who say they suffered hypothermia and nerve damage while shooting in cold conditions in the UK. Oh, the contestants' allegations concern their experience shooting the show's opening game, Red Light, Green Light. Wait, that's the one I was just talking about. Fire. Yeah, that's it. I imagine that's where most of the injuries would have come from. People were going crazy on their strategies there. Those tactics were nuts. The game was filmed at Cardington Studios, a former Royal Air Force base in Bedford, during a cold snap in Britain, and Netflix confirmed at the time that 3 of the 456 players required medical attention. Express Solicitors, which specializes in no-win, no-fee claims, said its clients risked their health by having to stay motionless for long periods during the shoot as they attempted to stay in the competition. Wait, what do you mean for long periods? There was a 5-minute time limit, unless, of course, that was all fake too, which it probably was. That just reminded me, another thing during the red light, green light, they try so hard to interject drama into this fucking show. There is a girl who, during red light, green light, stops in like a squatted position, and then they interview her, so that she's giving her inner monologue, and she's like, I can't believe I stopped squatted, what was I thinking? I don't know if I can hold on long enough, but I have no choice. I have to. I can't lose now. I need this. I can't. And then she's like, but I'm losing it. I give up. And then she just sits down and loses. Even though it was only like Since there's a timer there, assuming the timer's accurate, she only had to hold that squatted position for like 7 or 8 seconds. Yet she went through like this entire monologue, this entire fucking speech about how difficult the conditions were of just sitting in like a semi-squatted position for a while. Well, a while. 7 seconds. And then she's like, it's too much! Bang! And gives up. Contestants thought they were taking part in something fun, and those injured did not expect to suffer as they did. Now they've been left with injuries after spending time stuck in painful stress positions and cold temperatures. I really do wonder how long they had them out there for. Because assuming that the game was real, which I guess it wasn't, well, I mean, like, the game actually happened as it was supposed to, there's only a 5-minute time limit. So it couldn't have gone too much longer than that if they actually just played it out like a normal competition. But the whole thing is so fucking fake. So I'm guessing they might have been out there for hours to get the shots they wanted. I just skimmed through the Squid Game show and holy fuck. Oh no, I'm not exaggerating. It is awful. It is so bad. Oh man, yeah. It was terrible. I don't know why they even bothered. It would have been better if they just let them play out the Squid Game stuff, because at least then it would have been at least somewhat entertaining as just a game show. But here it's like this pseudo drama that is horribly done. It was a big waste of time. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't somewhat interested in watching episode 2. It ends on the weakest cliffhanger imaginable. And that's just almost impressive to me. They're choosing their shapes for the cookie game, and the cliffhanger is he going to go to the umbrella, or is he just going to let himself get eliminated? Woo-wee! So I've heard a lot of negative things about a new HBO Max show, or, excuse me, pardon, not HBO Max, Max. I don't want to be thrown in jail for using the wrong nomenclature there. I heard a lot of buzz about this new Max show called The Idol being a super stinker. The show's got like a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes and low scores across the board from pretty much anyone with eyeballs. And to me, it just didn't seem like an entertainingly bad show. I watched the trailer and it just looked like a snooze fest, and then I looked at the official poster and it just looks like the woman's wearing an actual orange rind for a dress. It looks CGI'd, so I thought the main complaint was going to be that it's low budget or poorly put together. But apparently that's not the case. So I read a few of the reviews, and I watched a few reviews as well, and everything people were talking about actually did make it sound fun bad. So I decided to do what I love to do. I dove into the septic tank, fucking cannonballed into the deep end in order to swim around in the sewage, just to see if it was fun bad. And now Ace reporter Charles is here on the front lines to give you the verdict after watching 2 episodes. It's sometimes fun bad, but mostly just bad. The reviews led me to believe that there was a menu here that was serving something entertaining. So I came into the restaurant and I ordered the poop, but I got served the pee. There is occasionally moments where I get what I was hoping to order, which is entertainingly bad moments and content. But 9 times out of 10, what I'm getting with the show, at least through the first 2 episodes, is just a big fucking plate of nothing. It's just boredom, empty calories. I'm going to get into it deeply here in just a moment, but just to give you a little context for the production, it was apparently already plagued by controversy before the first episode even aired. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes drama and a lot of like really turbulent changes and a lot of shit going on. So a lot of people already wrote off the show and put it 6 feet under, put the tombstone on top of it before it even aired, just because of all of this drama that was happening behind the scenes. They thought there was no way that it would actually come out and be decent. But I'm not here to really talk about all of that stuff behind the scenes because I went into this show blind, not knowing any of it, and it's still bad. So let's dive in. Episode 1. Now, this is where I'm immediately talking about the show just being like eating fucking styrofoam where you get nothing out of it for a long time. For the first 40 minutes, unless you're really just like, awooga, titties, there's not a whole lot of like interesting things happening. Now, I mention boobies here because within the first 5 minutes, they're immediately going into just showing you tits, and it even becomes a plot point. A plot point that they kind of harp on for a good chunk of screen time, actually, where the main character Jocelyn's doing a photo shoot, and then she just, derobes herself to show full bare breasts, and she just wants to let those honkers go bonkers, but there's an intimacy coordinator on set who's telling her she can't do that because it hasn't been approved by the intimacy board, the executive branch of booby coordinators. And they get mad at him for trying to put the kibosh on that because she wants to just let it all hang out. And he's saying, no, we really need approval. It's how these things go. And he's just doing his job. And he's being framed as a villain here. Like, the main character, Jocelyn's getting mad at him. Her staff is getting mad at him. Eventually, they just try and, like, scheme on how to get him out of the equation. So they lock him in a bathroom. So I just found that pretty interesting that its first major plot point, I suppose, is just titties. Like, actually, like, just underlined titties. How are we going to get people hooked on our show? Obviously, the tried and true method. We're going fucking caveman brain. Show them the milkers. And that's the whole first part there, really. Like, that's actually the first instance of conflict or anything, really, exposition, which was an interesting idea, an interesting call to make. But yeah, like I said, if you're not just going into this for softcore porn reasons and, like, your eyes popping out of your sockets like a cartoon character when you see titties, I just really don't think there's a whole lot to get invested in within the first 40 minutes of episode 1. Now, to quickly blast you here with the cliff notes, episode 1 focuses mainly on our main character Jocelyn, who is a massive pop star, but has recently fallen on hard times due to some tragic events that have happened in her life. She's had some very tragic things happen, like the loss of her mother, and they keep mentioning that she had a psychotic breakdown at one point. And 2, she just recently had one of her pictures leak. And it's not a picture that you'd necessarily be hanging on your refrigerator. It's not exactly a good photo. It's a picture with cum on her face. So she got glazed, and the picture surfaced online through a leak, and it became the #1 talked about thing in the world. So people are making fun of her, and everyone's talking about, Jocelyn, the mega pop star, all cummy faced now. So now she's tackling that stress on top of the stress she's already experiencing through everything she's been through. And she now has a single coming out for the first time in a year, and she's not super proud of it. Everyone's encouraging her that it's an amazing song, but she herself is a little on the fence about the real quality of it. That's kind of the first half in a nutshell. They were also playing a little game of keep away with Jocelyn's phone, so that way she wouldn't see the cum face picture and find out that it leaked and she's been trending online all day. And eventually, she does find out. They do tell her, and she takes it like a champ. She says, it could be worse. And she's not wrong. It could have been worse. That could have been like a full-blown goatsy situation, right? So she takes it on the chin, and then right after that decides that she wants to go to a club. So her and her friends go to a club where she meets The Weeknd, Tedros. So Tedros is the owner of the club that she attends, and as he's, playing music, he calls her out. He's like, holy shit! That's Jocelyn! We've got to dance. So they dance and then immediately fall in love, basically. They start grinding and they go to a stairwell where they're about to do a little canoodling. But then one of Jocelyn's friends, who's also her assistant, it kind of kills the mood. But they still got close. They exchanged contact information like it was a goddamn car accident. And they go their separate ways. The following night, Jocelyn is talking to her best friend / assistant. And says that she wants to bring Tedros over. And so she does. And now finally, after 45 grueling minutes, we get to the part where it gets fun bad, entertainingly stinky. We spent 45 minutes on the fucking Oregon Trail here going through all kinds of, unpleasantries. And now we're finally to a point where we can put a smile on our face. Before going into it, I would like to say that I'm actually surprised now, after watching the first 45 minutes, at how low the ratings are for it. Even though I found it uninteresting, I didn't find it to be like the most horrible show ever, like a lot of the reviews would have you believe. The cinematography is actually pretty good. It's shot well. Like, the show is well made. The biggest problem with the show is that it's uninteresting, and it's focusing on the worst parts of its narrative. It's focusing on the most unlikable parts of what the show is crafting. So it's putting all of the focus in the wrong areas, which I imagine most people are just tuning out for. So they just don't have any investment in it, and it makes it hard to actually care about what's going on. But as a show, I don't even think it's that horrible, like as bad as the reviews are making it seem. It's just fucking boring. That's by far its biggest sin for the first 45 minutes. But now, we get to Tedros coming into the equation. So he shows up to her house, and I can't show you the clip, but I will show you a screenshot. Tedros walks up to this house like he's the goddamn Terminator. Look at the atmosphere here. It's like a scene out of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, this shit is like when SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs went to the cemetery to get the #1 drink hat. Like, it is haunting. I don't know why he shows up like this. He's got a fucking trench coat on. He's like an assassin out of John Wick. Like, it is wild that he rolls up like this. And he goes into the house, too, with this same energy. Now, I had to take that picture with my phone because on Netflix you can't do, like, a screen cap. Or at least, I don't know how. I'm too fucking stupid, I guess. But basically, the doors swing open, and they're really, like, squeaky doors, like something out of a horror movie. And he's like the fucking Undertaker. He just, like, slowly walks up. And he continues that persona, like this haunting presence, even once he gets to the house. It is so weird. So much so that the assistant, Jocelyn's assistant, is like, oh, this guy's got weird vibes. So she's clearly like a little perturbed by it as well. And he just keeps it going. It's like a 5 or 6 minute scene of him rolling up and going into the house where he's like creepily playing the piano while looking at Jocelyn's assistant like dead in the eyes, staring a hole through her fucking soul. And then he pours himself a drink, and then he's like checking his teeth in the mirror, licking himself, playing around with his trench coat, and then he starts sniffing her pillows, just actually taking a huge huff of the fumes from her pillows. It's so goofy, like beautifully goofy. Now, while he's doing all of this, Jocelyn's getting ready because she's very excited to have sex with him. And then she goes, meets him, and then wants to show Tedros her song. She wants an honest opinion and says that he's enough of an asshole to be honest with her. So she plays the song for him, and he says he likes it, but he doesn't believe her. To which she's like, what do you mean? That doesn't make sense. What do you mean you don't believe me? He says he doesn't believe that she knows how to fuck. So we're getting very 50 Shades of Grey here. That gave me the same tingles as the 50 Shades of Grey movie when Christian says, I don't make love, I fuck. It's so skin-crawlingly cringe. So he's like, I don't believe you know how to fuck. And she's like, I know how to fuck. And then he like takes her robe off, and I shit you not, wraps the robe around her head and then ties it around her neck. So it's like a manhunt fatality. So he's got the robe over like a paper bag that he's trying to like strangle her with, basically. And then he gets out a knife and he's like, don't panic, I know you heard the knife. And then he's like, open your mouth. And then he cuts a hole for her mouth so she can breathe. It's so fucking silly. And then the episode concludes with, after cutting the hole in the mouth, he says, now you can sing. It's super silly, and I neglected to mention a very important point with an ice cube that happens right before Tedros puts the robe over her head like he's about to waterboard her. He takes an ice cube, and he like runs it down her leg and onto her like pussy and all that. And that ice cube is actually a major supporting character, believe it or not. Well, not like that single ice cube, it melted, God rest its soul, rest in peace. But ice cubes in general, because she became so inspired by that sexual experience in the ice cubes that it kind of become her vessel to tap into her more creative side. So the single she's releasing is about sex. Like, it's about being a freak, getting real grimy. And when he said that he didn't believe her in the song because her vocals didn't convey that she knew how to be a freak and have sex, the ice cube brings out that freak side of her, I guess. In the next episode, she does a remix of that song because she said, you know what, the previous one wasn't me, this one's more me, and she plays it for her whole team to get their opinions. And the song just actually sounds like porn. Like, the entire intro is just moaning and deep breathing and shit like that. It sounds like you just walked in on somebody in the masturbatorium going crazy. So her staff wasn't super thrilled because it just sounds like they're listening to porn. And she gets so upset that she goes back to try and remix it. And in order to get back in the zone of being a sexual expert, she has a glass of ice cubes nearby that she keeps taking from and rubbing on her vagina and then like squeezing at her neck in order to get back into that moaning sexual zone, which I thought was so silly. Like that made me giggle a lot. So this is when the show's at its best in terms of like entertainingly fun bad shit. Like having to kegel some ice cubes in order to do enough deep breathing on your track in order for it to sound sexually stimulating enough. What a brilliant idea. Now, episode 2 reveals like the deeper plot elements here. Tedros was already kind of framed as someone who's probably going to be a bit shady in the grand scheme of things, and episode 2 drives it home. It turns out Tedros has a label of his own, and pretty much everyone from that club is in on it, and it seems it's leading audience to believe that Tedros is getting close to Jocelyn for his own selfish gain as well as the gain of his label. So big plot twist moment was one of Jocelyn's dancers, whom is also one of her friends, is part of Tedros's friend group, and they actively fuck, and this whole thing was actually a setup. So that's episode 2. Tedros gets even closer to Jocelyn and eventually floats the idea of moving into her house, which she's all on board with. Meanwhile, Jocelyn's best friend is getting a little fishy once she learns that Tedros owns this label. She's starting to connect dots that this might not exactly be the most trustworthy person. Now, that's all of the plot shit. It kind of interesting, I will say. Like, I think that's an interesting narrative play. However, once again, I think they just focus on the most boring parts in the episode. But this one had a lot of fun bad moments, at least sporadically placed throughout. It feels like this show wants to be 50 Shades of Grey, like great value version, like diet 50 Shades of Grey. So it has these really weird moments, like genuinely just like baffling moments where Tedros and Jocelyn are about to fuck. And she's like, put that bathrobe over me again, or put the robe over my face again. So he like blindfolds her with the bathrobe thing. And then she starts like getting ready to fuck, but then Tedros goes behind a chair and he just starts instructing her like a drill sergeant. And it goes on for like 3 or 4 minutes, probably more than that, probably closer to like 5 or 6 minutes of him just giving her orders for things to do. So he's like, show me those titties, and I'll move the titties around. And then I shit you not, he even says, imagine my cock in your throat, and now you're choking on it, and now you're spreading your little pussy. It's so weird. So the weekend, Tedros keeps saying these things to her, and she's like mimicking it in front of him like it's a stage play, and it just goes on for so long. And then one of his friends that he brought over is watching in the mirror, and she starts doing the same thing. So Tedros is like a fucking sexual savant shaman. Like he's like fucking mind controlling women around him just by existing. So yeah, that's some good goofy fun bad shit. There's also a scene where like Tedros is instructing one of his friends how to fuck. So he has like a shock collar on his dick, and he's like, all right, now you need to look like you're ready to fuck that girl. And he's like, no, not good enough. Shocks him. He's like, ah! Like he's like, oh, okay, I'll get more into it. And he's like, no, not good enough. And then says, remember, you're not a human, you're a star. And then fucking shocks his wiener again. So the episode gets fucking crazy. Like it's going hog wild here, but it's all on the stuff that I don't think most people would care about here, like the softcore porn elements of it. I guess it's not even really softcore porn. It's just like straight up porn where they don't show you most of it. Actually, which is pretty much softcore. Yeah, it's just like all focused on like the sexual parts of it as opposed to the actual interesting narrative bits, like the whole setup plan as well as Jocelyn's friend who's now getting in a position where the label's losing trust in Jocelyn, but her friend who is the dancer can also sing, and it's looking like they're going to replace Jocelyn with her, and she is the one that's part of Tedros' friend group, so that will benefit Tedros and all of them. Like, there are interesting elements at play, but they don't actually get the spotlight. It's all on the, make your titties bounce for me. Yeah. Good titties bouncing. Good shit. And then spanking her ass and, like, jiggling her butt cheeks. Like, that's not very interesting. That's laughable. Now, there is another section of this episode that I actually thought was very interesting. It's Jocelyn's music video. She's doing a music video for the song, and it's not going well, which is why they're about to replace her with her friend. She just keeps doing the choreography over and over and over again, forcing them to restart. They're many hours over time, way out of schedule, because Jocelyn needs it to be perfect. She's still overcome with grief over the loss of her mother. This is the first music video she's done without her mother being there, and she's breaking down, she's crying, and she's going over the moves so many times that her legs are getting bloody, so they have to keep like fixing that with makeup, and it's it's actually conveyed in a pretty interesting way. The cinematography is good. Like, it is actually good. And then eventually she gets the perfect take. Everything was like fantastic, exactly what she wanted, but the camera was out of focus. So she had to do it again. And she didn't get it perfectly the 50th time around. So, like, it's actually a very interesting scene. Her staff coming in to try and lift her up, it's not working well. Her staff, you also start to wonder, do they even really care about Jocelyn, or are they just there because it benefits them? Like, all of that's actually kind of interesting, but it is not what the show seems to want to focus on, which I think is such a fucking misfire, and probably why so many people don't actually like the show, because I don't think many people care to see softcore porn. Like, you just type boobies in on Google and you'll get a million fucking OnlyFans links, right? Like, you're probably not tuning into this to get porn. At least I don't think most people would be. But yeah, once again, the episode does end up being overwhelmingly boring for the most part and uninteresting. Because again, it is focusing on like the worst parts of what the show's offering. But yeah. Oh, another thing. The characters feel really stiff a lot in this episode, even more so than episode 1. Some of these characters that come in here feel like actually phoned in performances. They didn't really care that much, which is kind of odd. I mean, especially for a show of this budget and this prestige. I mean, it's a fucking HBO Max show. So I would think that they'd really make sure all of the acting is fantastic. But there's a lot of times in here where I was like, damn, that just really didn't seem like they cared at all about this whole scene. But anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. It's only 2 episodes. Maybe it really gets better. You know, it really finds its footing in episode 3. I couldn't tell you. But I just wanted to at least give you all an update since I did watch it. And overall, I do think it was a waste of time. Like, I don't think the fun bad moments outweighed the overwhelming boredom or disinterest I had in the show. There's just very few fun, shitty moments that are sprinkled throughout the 2 episodes, and that just really wasn't worth it. So, yeah, that's really about it. So, yeah. It's 7 a.m. and I just have an insatiable appetite for a healthy, balanced breakfast of shitting on the world's most prolific television scam artist, Dr. Oz. I'm sure you've heard of Dr. Oz, maybe even watched some clips and laughed at him, but you know who's not laughing? Your mom and your grandma, who's buying all the dog shit that he keeps peddling. This guy is like the television version of those tech support scammers that take advantage of old people. It's so fucking gross, but what's crazy is he's an actual real surgeon, and I guess a pretty well-respected one at that. But I guess when he's outside of a hospital setting, he just gets hit by like a stupid beam and just becomes like a mindless drone that promotes anything that pays him. His television show is nothing but bad advice, outright lies, and selling products that don't work. You're better off getting your health advice from your local crackhead. At least he'll be more honest than Dr. Oz. You can really find endless examples of Dr. Oz lying about shit on his show in order to promote some new fat buster or magic cure to something. The main thing he always targets is fat busters, metabolism boosters, and just general magic pills. He's always going on about pills. This man promotes more pills than a fucking pharmacy. And it's the most nonsensical garbage you've ever heard of. This is goat urine concentrate. It's wonderful and will instantly cure any muscle aches in the body as well as fighting that stubborn belly fat. And it's shameless. Let me go ahead and show you one of his fat-bustin' gadgets that he promoted one time called the Fat Magnet.
The difficult things to do, so to help you out, we've got some gadgets that are going to help you stiff off a little bit of that fat. The first is a gadget that actually helps you cut the fat quite literally. Let's see if it really works. What's this called?
Well, the name says it all. This is the Fat Magnet. And what this actually does is it skims the fat off from stews and chilies and different types of gravies. What you do is you just freeze this in the freezer for 2.5 hours, and then you glide it on top. And what this does is it gets rid of all of that grease.
Can you all see that?
So it solidifies it, and then you can use a scraper to actually get rid of it. So it's...
If I have to explain to you why this doesn't work, then you're already too far gone. This is one of the most blatantly obvious scams I've ever seen promoted on a show. A fat magnet. There is no basis in science or anything with this one. And the demonstration they give here is, oh, you just run it on top of the food here, and look at all the grease it picked up. And it's just some fucking grease sitting on top of there. No shit, you just put it inside of a fucking greasy stew. Like, you could get the same effect if you put a paper towel in there. But what gets me is the audience going, ooh, whoa. Like, if their mind just got blown, like they've never seen fucking grease on the surface of something. This doesn't suck up fat or anything. There's plenty of videos, including news agencies, that were just debunking Dr. Oz because it got so bad at one point, going over like how the fat magnet doesn't work even slightly. It is literally a fucking butt plug that can just touch grease, and that's it. It's not some magic wizard grease wand that can somehow vaporize the fat and solidify it from the pan here. And it doesn't even try in their own demonstration. Dr. Oz doesn't challenge it or explain it or anything because it's not real. He was paid to shill it, and god damn it, he will. This man will literally sell anything. Now, from what I remember, most of it's not harmful to your health. I mean, I guess if you tried to take every single pill he's promoted, you'd probably explode, like something right out of The Boys. But, like, the actual individual stuff he peddles isn't, like, detrimental to your health. It's just useless and a waste of money. It'll just be some garbage like, every afternoon around 3 p.m., if you gargle pickled chicken foot juice, it'll be great for your tonsils. Or if you go on my website right now and buy this magic bean pill, it'll give you bigger muscles and tone up that stubborn arm fat. Just nonsense. It's just absolute nonsense. And from most of the medical community, they call him a quack because of his show, even though he was an actual real surgeon and a pretty successful one at that. But this guy has become so corrupted, there is nothing he won't promote to his audience. I could probably pay him $50 and he would go on his show and claim that my pocket trumpet is actually a fat blasting apparatus, and then, start talking about how if you just listen to me playing the pocket trumpet for 15 minutes a day, your body fat will just start to melt right off your bones thanks to the frequencies of the notes I'm playing. Just garbage. And he will do it with a smile on his face.
If you've got a medical problem you can't solve, you may find the answer in the next few minutes. Start. And this is the area of energy medicine. Reiki. And you're a Reiki master. My wife Lisa is Reiki master. So when the kids get sick, when I'm out of sorts, she actually comes by. I can't even tell when she's treating me. Sometimes she secretly treats me. She thinks I'm in a bad mood. And I see hands moving around, but I actually feel the heat.
He's not only a dog shit salesman, he also has no problem selling pseudoscience. So in this segment, he's talking about energy medicine and Reiki therapy, where he brings on a Reiki master and talks about how if, modern medicine can't solve it, maybe it's because it's not spiritually getting after you here with the energy therapy from Reiki. So he even tells this anecdotal story about his wife being a Reiki master. When the kids are sick or, he's in a bad mood, she'll start waving her hands around and treating them, making her sound like the fucking Avatar here, just like blood bending in order to heal the family. It's outrageous. Actually my wife is a midichlorian expert. She's able to deduce the amount of midichlorians in the bloodstream and decide whether or not we're worthy to become a Jedi. This is all a bunch of fucking nonsense, but he keeps using words like therapy, healing, treatment when talking about Reiki here, which obviously convinces the older viewers that it must be real because it's coming from a fucking doctor. That's so wrong. There is a reason why the medical community hates Dr. Oz so much, and it's for shit like this. Not just the selling of pills that don't work and all of that, but also the promotion of alternative medicine that isn't legitimate. This is supposed to be a medical show based in science, evidence, fucking facts, but instead we have an entire Reiki section here.
Reiki is a balancing practice. And so rather than addressing the headache or whatever else is the problem, what it does is it influences the person's overall system toward balance. And then as her system becomes more balanced, symptoms tend to fall away. Then over time, for example, if you get headaches, you may find that you get them less frequently.
Do you feel anything, Dalita?
Oh, yes, my headache's going away.
Your headache's going away?
Yes.
And do you feel any heat?
Yes.
Because those are usually what I feel.
Oh my god, it's a miracle. She squeezed the headache right out of her skull there. She was able to touch the pain away. Fuck. Magnificent. I'll have to book a Reiki therapy session ASAP. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know what compelled me to talk about Dr. Oz today. I just started thinking about it and decided to jump down the rabbit hole again because it's been a little while since I checked in on Dr. Oz. I don't think he even has his show anymore. I'm not positive, and I don't feel like really looking into it so much at the moment. But this went on for years. He was able to convince older viewers for a long time on things that don't exist and aren't legitimately based in anything real. And I think that's pretty wrong. I think that's pretty sad. I do remember that Dr. Oz is trying to get into politics. I think he's actually running for Senate or something at the moment. Hopefully that doesn't pan out. That would be fucking awful and miserable. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about some of these scams here a little bit, and that's really about it. So yeah. Oh, you just fucking reminded me of something. Have any of you guys seen this? What was his name? I saw it on Reddit like a week ago. And it happened last year. A guy got fired from, I think it was like the Washington Post because he was jerking off on a Zoom call with all of his colleagues. And then they brought him on to CNN and had him explain why he was masturbating on Zoom. So it was such an uncomfortable segment. The lady's like, you may see we're joined by fucking Dick McButtman, whatever his name is. And you may remember he was recently fired for masturbating on camera. So what's up with that? And then just like interview him right to his face about why he was jerking off. Jeff Toobin, was that his name? Oh god, yeah, they had him come on CNN to address it. Oh, it was painful.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, Allison.
Hey, Jeff.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Hey, how's that dick hanging? Just kidding, I already know. I saw it.
What's happened in the months since we've seen you, since some of our viewers may not know what has happened. So I guess I'll...
Yeah, I just don't understand why they'd do this. I mean, it's fucking CNN viewers. They could have just brought him back. No one would have said shit. They probably didn't even know that this man's meat came out at some point in front of his colleagues and fucking full-blown Louis C.K'd them or whatever. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm so glad it happened. Because she has to sit here and he has to sit here and explain the masturbation for 10 fucking minutes. Like I said, I only watched like the first minute or so. It is goofy.
I'll recap. I'll do the honors.
Take it away.
Help yourself.
Okay.
Yes, please. I'm excited.
Everyone took a break for several minutes, during which time you were caught masturbating on camera.
Yes. And I'll do it again, too.
Fired from that job after 27 years of working there.
Threw it away.
And you, since then, have been on leave from CNN. Do I have all that right?
That's a pretty good lore
Sad to
update.
say.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, obviously, I wasn't thinking very well or very much, and it was something that was inexplicable to me.
It was probably exhilarating, though.
I didn't think other people could see me.
You
So,
thought that you had turned off your camera?
correct.
Yeah.
I thought that I had turned
Naturally.
off the Zoom call. Now, that's not a
Even this guy in the back's like, are you fucking serious? You're telling me this guy masturbated on a Zoom call? What? Like, he's just now getting this information like I did. And he's shocked. Just as shocked as I was. But I do have to appreciate Toobin's work ethic. They took just a couple minute break, apparently. Like, they were on a Zoom call going over business, doing business shit. And apparently, like, all right, we're going to take a brief recess. Everyone go get yourself a coffee or something. And in the brief 30 seconds that the people weren't there, the man just whips his cock out and goes to town. Like, damn. He's about efficiency. You can say a lot of things about Jeffrey Toobin. I've never heard that name in my life. But I'm assuming you can say a bunch of bad shit about him. One thing you can't say, though, is he doesn't know how to jerk it. And he doesn't, live for the thrill, to say. Like, I have to at least appreciate that. I have to give kudos where they're due.
subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess. Trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service.
What a weird... Why are you in therapy? You were the one that fucking brought out the one-eyed snake on a Zoom call with your colleagues. And I would wager... I don't know this guy. I'm not going to sit here and Reddit armchair psychologist this man. But I would wager he had to know that there was some level of danger to it. Something... Like, the thrill is what got him horned up. There had to be something to it. But why the fuck are you in therapy? Like... jerking off doesn't make you a bad person, but what you did does. Like, what puts you in therapy? Your fucking colleagues, based on the size of your meat, probably needed therapy. Like, he's not the victim here. I see this all the time. And I also didn't get the conclusion on whether or not he finished. I don't know if he blew his load. If I had to guess, when his colleagues came back, it was just like uproarious screams and squealing, like a Wilhelm scream or something. Like, oh my God, Tubin, what are you doing? Well, put it away.
We've heard what I like to think of as the politician apology, which is...
What does
I'm sorry
politics
if you
have to
were
do with
offended.
this, though?
Which
Unless your
sounds
dick
to
was
me
left or
like,
right
said
leaning,
the
I
words,
guess.
Now get off my back. Above all, I am sorry to my wife and to my family, but I'm also sorry to the people on the Zoom call. I'm sorry to my former colleagues.
Are you sorry to me, Jeffrey?
I'm sorry to my current,
Say I'm sorry to
still
Charlie.
colleagues at CNN. And I'm sorry to the people who read my work and who watched me on CNN and who thought I was a better person than this. And so, I got a lot to rebuild, but I feel
I would love
very
to know
privileged and very
why
lucky
he
that I
started
would be able to
jerking
try
off
to do
during
that.
the meeting.
I mean, one of
just
the
during a
ironies
recess.
of this whole incident is that for decades you have covered the bad judgment and sexual proclivities of public figures and politicians like Bill Clinton and Anthony Weiner and Elliot Spitzer and
Still a stupid
Donald
name.
Trump, and I could go on.
Fucking Weiner.
And so,
I am not going to come up here and split
Yeah.
hairs and try to come up with justifications or explanations.
Zoom calls are going to be a lot
As
more
long
fun
as
with
it's
Jeffrey
stupid,
Tubin
I'm
around.
trying
You
to
never
be
know
a
what
better
you're going to get
I
now.
do want to get to
a nice wild
what
card.
the New Yorker decision was and the consequences.
Next time he might finger his own butthole.
After you had worked there.
There are no surprises out there about my conduct. That I am worried that there is there's a skeleton that's going to be found.
That's spoken like a man who still has a couple good jerks left in him on Zoom calls. Let me see. It's been a while. Has he done it again? Is he a repeat offender? What's his name? Jeffrey Tubin? Yeah, it doesn't look like he's done anything since. Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled just in case. Check X video. Yes, perhaps he's performing under another alias. Let's see. I wonder if anyone leaked that Zoom call. This is dangerous. I'm going to click on it, and I already know I'm going to regret it. It says, leaked video, Jeffrey Tubin's Zoom call. I found a screenshot from the actual Zoom call. He was ass naked. Really? So they actually... Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. It's a tier 1 slushie. All right. Hold on a second. Let me see. Don't act like you've never forgotten to turn off your stream and yanked it on cam. Happens to the best of us. Bro, I think about that shit all the time. Not necessarily jerking off, but I always think like, what if I forgot to put my cock back in my pants after peeing? And that's the worst because then it'd be flaccid and everyone would make fun of me. But I always have that thought in the back of my mind. I've never once made that mistake in my life, but I just keep thinking, what if today's the day? So the man really got butt-ass naked? I figured it was just like through the pants fly or something. Tubin meat. Tubin caught Zoom call. Tubin hot XXX. Doesn't exist, I assure you. Damn. Oh well. Maybe one day. He'll slip up again. That's the face of a man who's considering doing it right now on the CNN apology, like weighing the pros and cons. I could just jerk off again right now.
Do you think, given that the punishment fits the crime?
I am the worst person to ask that.
I would think you would be. Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously,
You got
love
fired.
the news. But other people are going to weigh in about whether it was appropriate for them to get rid of me and for CNN to keep me.
It'd be hard to stay employed after doing
Late
something
night
like
talk
this.
shows have had a field day. Should we move on to the news?
Sure, let's.
No, fuck that. That's boring. Talk more about him masturbating.
California. You heard me
Yeah.
talking about that the
Yeah, get me the fuck out. That's boring. I love that they did that on air for no reason. I couldn't imagine a better situation. Hey, look who we brought. Yeah, the guy fucking masturbated on Zoom in front of all of his colleagues. Hey, so what's the deal with that, huh, buddy? Maybe he started an OnlyFans? I wish he doubled down. Like, okay, here's what you guys missed on the Zoom call, and then a link to his OnlyFans. That would be great. That would be pretty cool. Cumin with Tubin. That would be a great segment for CNN. That would be fantastic, actually. You should work there. That'd be pretty good. You could report on, like, I don't know, sex worker income or something, or what's, like, going on in that market. honestly pretty good. Last night, Elon Musk went on to Saturday Night Live. What a fucking disaster. I made a video a couple years ago talking about how much I dislike Saturday Night Live. I truly believe it is one of the worst shows that still airs on TV. It's also a super weird show how when you bring up SNL, the immediate response from pretty much everyone is to remind you that it used to be good. Yeah, SNL blows asshole these days, but it used to be great. I've heard that for the last 20 years at least. I remember that was being said in high school. Yeah, Saturday Night Live's trash, but it used to be good. Heard it in middle school. It's bad now, but it used to be great. When the fuck was it ever great? You have to wonder, was it ever good at any point? The only time I ever liked SNL is when I was an actual child watching the Chris Farley and Adam Sandler stuff, and I used to watch the shit out of it. I loved it back then. Is that the last time SNL was good? Over 20 years ago? And if so, why the fuck do we still use that as some kind of defense for current SNL? It should have been taken off the air a decade ago. It's like a show written by your high school drama club as like a warm-up exercise that for some reason airs on national TV. It's so bad.
Hi, I'm Elon Musk, and I'm hosting SNL This Week with musical guest Miley Cyrus.
What's new with you, Elon?
I just did a successful rocket launch this week.
Wow. Well, I did my laundry.
Congrats.
Actually, no, I didn't.
I'm not here to be the taste police. If you like Saturday Night Live, you're a huge fan of it. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think less of you for it. Having shitty taste isn't a crime. It's fine. But I'm just confused at who actually laughs at the stuff SNL puts out there. Like what I just showed you right here, this sounds like someone that was rushed in a project for their theater class. It is the most low bar possible joke to make to get people excited for the upcoming episode. Granted, you don't have a whole ton of time to sell people on the comedy of it, but you could at least do a little bit better than the worst fucking jokes ever told here. And the Elon Musk episode in particular highlights everything wrong with it, in my opinion. So first of all, there's like a whole wild lore behind it because a lot of Dogecoin enthusiasts treated it like Christmas Eve yesterday. They were expecting Elon Musk to go on there and pump Dogecoin like a motherfucker, which would blast it through the roof going well over $1. And then what ended up happening is it plummets. It drops, 40% because of Elon Musk's appearance on SNL. So, I mean, Christmas was ruined there, but I don't know why they had that expectation. It's not like the octogenarians that watch SNL know what crypto or Dogecoin is, so it's not like they were going to start buying it just because Elon Musk mentioned it. I don't know who's watching SNL. I always expect it to be old people, but it looks like even the elderly generation that watches SNL in their retirement home by accident didn't enjoy Elon Musk's episode, and it looks like they also don't enjoy it in general, because I was perusing a lot of older people's Twitters because I was curious, like, who is the audience these days? Because it really feels like SNL doesn't even know who their audience is, whether it's old people that accidentally keep the channel on when this shit comes on, or children who aren't watching TV in the first place. I don't really know who it's geared towards. For example, the Wario skit. The Wario skit is something you would have seen on 2008 YouTube. This looks like a skit done by middle schoolers as just something goofy fun between friends. Not something on a multi-million-dollar production level. In a nutshell, the Wario sketch is the Mario cast in a courtroom, and the comedy is they're all doing Italian accents and occasionally making video game sound effects. It's really like exactly what TikTok is, but done by old people that don't understand TikTok. TikTok humor like this, fucking horrible. This, even worse. And the big gut-busting side-splitter moment is when Wario accuses Luigi of having sex with Peach in front of everyone. Heh. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is exactly like what you would have seen in 2008 YouTube done by some kids. I'd like to show you the worst skit of the night. I'm not going to show all of it for obvious reasons, but I would like to show you a little bit of by far the worst moment from last night, and probably the worst moment of the year, really. It's the Gen Z hospital skit.
Bro, nobody's telling us anything. Is Bestie gonna be okay?
Nurse, we demand to know how our bestie is doing.
I'm sorry, bro. I told you I don't have that information yet.
Bruh, seriously?
I'm so pressed right now, bro.
Yo, if this doctor keeps leaving us on red, he's gonna catch hands on gang. No. Just give us the tea.
Okay, well, as you may have seen on her live, your bestie took a major L while driving her Hellcat.
Yeah, we saw.
We tried everything we could in surgery, and it was sus for a while. But we have your bestie on a machine.
It just hit different.
Yeah, especially since Bestie is my mom.
Yo, she's not just your mom.
She's all our work moms.
Exactly. But please, go off, King.
But she's actually actually my mother, bro. So it's like...
Admittedly, it's not that different from Attaway General, but this is just somehow 50 times more insufferable to sit through. I've spared you the majority of it and only hit you with a concentrated dose of it. This is like what would be enough to change Bruce Banner into the Hulk with this amount of radioactive waste here. It's fucking crazy. This gamma radiation from the overwhelmingly awful nature of this skit is baffling. I don't even know how to really explain it. Elon Musk, I don't think, was the reason SNL was so fucking horrible last night. I think the show in general is just this fucking bad. It's just everyone watched it because Elon was there and they were hoping it would be good for Dogecoin. So now everyone got exposed to this awful show and took notice of how bad it is. Though Elon Musk moves around like an animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's. It's like he's deep-faked forever. Like, he literally moves around like a bad deep fake. I mean, I'm sure it was just nerves, but it was definitely something that stood out to me. Which is, I mean, it's not like it's making the skit any worse. In fact, it adds an almost human element to an otherwise robotically awful show. This show actually looks like it was written by Cleverbot, if Cleverbot was tasked with writing a fucking horrible comedy show. It's all like this. Jinsey Hospital was the worst one of the night, but none of them were good, even remotely. There wasn't a single time where I even almost cracked even the slightest semblance of a smile. It is... I don't know, again, I don't know who the audience is, because adults, like old people, aren't going to watch this and start laughing, like pointing fingers, haha, look at goofy Gen Z. They're just not going to understand what's going on. And I can't imagine kids are going to watch this, because it's Saturday Night Live. Not going to turn on the TV to watch Saturday Night Live. They probably have never turned a TV on in their life. And why would they when they can get this same level of awful content right on their phones on TikTok? There's no reason for them to go to old people that don't even know what TikTok is to try and deliver the same, albeit somehow even worse experience. So I just don't know where they're trying to go with this. It's a completely misguided train wreck of a show that they also don't know what to do with, I imagine. It's fucking sad. Like, it's just like a sad thing to watch. And also, most insultingly of all, not only is it somehow even worse than TikTok humor, you get significantly less of it. You're mainly watching advertisements with a little bit of SNL in between. There's like a block of 9 minutes of SNL, and then a block of like 4 minutes of commercials, then like 6 minutes of SNL, then more commercials. Like, it's crazy to me that this is how we used to digest entertainment, with this many commercials. You're watching just as much commercials in this like hour block as you are watching SNL. In fact, you're probably watching more commercials than you are SNL, because you probably fall asleep during a skit. Like, it's crazy. Like, that people still even watch TV when it's in this state. To go back and look at this with as many commercial breaks as it had is an insult to the viewer. There's no reason and no chance kids are choosing SNL over just going on their phones and watching TikTok, where it's pretty much advertiser free, and if there is an advertisement, you can usually skip it after 5 seconds, whereas here you can't skip it after 5 minutes of ads. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, just wanted to vent about it, because I subjected myself to the whole episode, hated it, and just wanted to again talk about why SNL is so trash. That's about it. So yeah. Growing up, Saturday Night Live was a staple in my household. We watched every weekend with the classics with Chris Farley and so many memorable skits that still give me a boner just thinking about them. But nowadays, Saturday Night Live has become this unrecognizable abomination of what it used to be. Watching SNL skits is about as entertaining as getting a pop rock enema. This shit is just painful. I'd honestly rather watch a vasectomy than modern SNL skits. They're just so fucking bad, and I don't think there's a better example for it than Pete Davidson's recurring character Chad in all of his skits. I'm gonna go ahead and play a few snippets of him. His entire shtick is just saying okay, and that's really his only punchline. That's about all he says. It's the same thing every time. Here's a big build-up, and then Chad breaks it by saying okay. And people in the comments and people that watch SNL love it, like, oh, imagine if they said the world's gonna end and Chad just says okay. Ha 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 ha. That's really as simple as it is. There's nothing clever. There's nothing entertaining about it. It's like actually watching a 2008 YouTube skit from an amateur in middle school. It's exactly the kind of comedy that SNL is about these days, and I just don't get what happened. I'm just gonna play some of this shit for you.
Take me right now.
Okay.
But you can't.
Oh, okay.
I wrote this for you last night.
Oh, okay.
You can't say no to a game that you're already playing.
Okay.
And I'll know if you're cheating, Chad, because I'm watching you right now. Okay. A pretty little throat will get slit.
Slit.
How about we turn the patio light on?
Okay.
Now that is turbo comedy. I'm not taking shots at Pete Davidson. I actually think he's a talented guy. But SNL writers suck such fat asshole that this is the best they can come up with. It's like the head writer for these SNL skits is 2008's Fred from YouTube. I don't understand. And the comment section make me very sad because it's just quotes from the video and then how hard they're laughing about it. For example, when he said that he was being watched and Chad just said, okay, lost my fucking shit. I literally shit out of my goddamn fucking tits. I was laughing so hard. What a side splitter. I wouldn't care so much about how bad SNL is if it wasn't such an integral part to my childhood, which is honestly just sad. But, you know, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become Saturday Night Live, which is a fate far worse than death. I'll play another banger of an SNL skit for you from the Chad Chronicles here. So go ahead and spit in your hands and get ready to hit it raw. We're coming in.
$50. Sound good, Chad? Okay. All right. Do us bids coming, man? You got any hidden talents, Chad?
I made up a dance called the Doink Doink.
All right, let's see it.
Okay. Doink Doink, Doink Doink, Doink the Doink Doink Doink. Boing 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 boing.
Yeah, the classics. That really just kind of puts modern SNL in a nice nutshell. That's the level of comedy they're working with these days. It's such a fucking shame. I think SNL sucks ass real hard these days. It literally just gargles straight urethra. I don't know how it's still popular. I don't know who the audience is anymore when you have skits like all of Chad's where it's just okay and then doink doink or whatever. It's fucking unreal. It's downright painful. But, you know, to each their own. I just wanted to vent about it because I came... For some reason, YouTube keeps fucking recommending me SNL skits because I'm guessing they're paying for it. But goddamn, I clicked on a couple. It is all so goddamn bad, and I just needed a vent. And I'm sorry if you like SNL for your bad taste. That's it. See ya.